In Mexico, one of my best friends told me, I like Putin because he's against USA.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, but he is against human rights too.
Hey everybody, today our video about transphobia and homophobia in Russia and South America. And here my friend, her name is Keops. She is a social worker in Barcelona, but originally she is Mexicana, from Mexico. This is the channel The Trans Family. It is a channel mine and my husband's. Here we're talking about LGBT and particularly about trans people.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, how about you?
Good. Right now, good. I'm a social worker, but I'm a dancer too. My life is more dedicated.
There is down in this video links to Instagram of Keops. She is a professional dancer.
Yes, this year I'm working more for social things, but my career is more for artists, no?
You think so, yes?
Mm-hmm.
But what is social working for you?
Well, I have been an activist, I think always, not just here in Spain, in Barcelona, in Mexico too.
Yeah.
But especially this year, I decided to work completely in social problems, no? I'm working with an association, LGBTQ association, to work with the problems that we have as community. No?
Yeah, and this is our first question. How it was, let's begin from started, in 20 years ago in Mexico, when you started your adulthood life, how it was with transphobia and homophobia?
Since 20 years ago?
Yes.
Well, I remember in 2008, for example, it was the first year that in Mexico was the International Day Against the Homophobia. But before 2008, I think in Mexico we didn't know, or we didn't tell this condition and trans people. No, the concept of trans people, I think it's not new, the situation, but the concept, no, it's a little bit new, because before in Mexico, when you saw a trans woman, I think in 2000, you saw a man dressing like a woman, or a drag, no?
Transvestite.
I think through the activism, I think through the information, the people start to see this condition and this reality, no, that it happens always. But I think until that moment in Mexico, we trans women, we were just men dragging as women, no?
Yeah. And so, can you remember some situations, typical situation of violence, or maybe killing a trans woman in Mexico?
Well, in Mexico is a machist country, but it's a very friendly and open country at the same time. No,
previously too.
The society is very diverse. Is not just one kind of society. There's so many realities in all the country, no, and so many cultures inside the country. But in general, the people it's very open in one side and very traditional in another side, no. I think the machismo is growing up more for the economic system, more than the traditions of the culture, no? Since 90s in Mexico, starts to come a wave of violence
Yeah.
with the narco traffic and
Yes,
another
yes.
organized criminals.
Yeah, as I heard that, what about Mexico? That it is a very dangerous place with gangsters, with narco traffic. Yes.
And that starts to open the door for the violence, I think.
Yeah.
And actually, the violence is not just for trans woman, even for cis woman. It's
Yeah.
horrible. This killing, they are killing the woman just to be woman, no?
Yeah. So you mean that dangerous violence and narco traffic not related with homophobia and transphobia? If somebody a gangster or narco dealer, he can be not homophobic. He can be in relationships with, for example, with trans women, and at the same time being a gangster, prisoner, or narco dealer. Yes, you mean that?
I think it's because it's very difficult to talk about the narco traffic or the criminals, organization criminals right now, because it's a very deep subject, no?
Yeah.
But when this door is open and the violence leave with a very hard strong, I think the hate for the woman in general it was more than in the past.
Yeah.
No? For example, the I don't know how to say it in English. Las cifras, the dates of killed women start to grow up and grow up and grow up. No.
Yeah.
And for trans women, it's the same.
Yeah. I mean, in Russia, for example, they think that typical persons they think that everybody who were in prison, every criminal people hate gays and trans because of that fact that they are criminals. And I think it is not dependent, not related with that. You can be criminal, but at the same time you can be not homophobic, yes or not?
Yes.
How it in Mexico? I think it is possible to be, for example, gay and drug dealer. Oh, yes. And it is existing in Mexico now, for example.
Yes,
Can I be the queen with king narco dealer? Can I be his queen, trans queen?
Yes,
With many money and gold.
Yes. I really don't know that circumstance in Mexico, but I think yes, it's not the hate that society has to the community. I think it's not about a social level.
Yeah.
Or I think it's another thing, and it's more sometimes for politicals, no?
Yeah.
Because we're the politicians can put the attention here to do something behind, no?
It is in Mexico, you say?
Yes, I think in Mexico and so many countries is the same. I want to mean
politicians use this with transcendencia, this concept of transgender being or gay being to introduce something to people. You mean that?
No, to scare people and put the attention in that trans people is going to transform your kids, for example, no?
And in Mexico too, they say like
yes, because the politicals have doing this for so many years, not just with the subject for the LGBTQ community.
To control typical people.
It's the same with the communism, no? For example, in Mexico and Spain, they said the communists eat kids. No?
Really?
Yes.
They don't like communism. Not like in Cuba.
Yeah, no, it's the same if you like or not like, but that I want to tell is that in Spain and in Mexico, in some years they use these prejudices to say communism is bad because the people they don't believe in God, they eat kids, no?
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are they are the devil, no?
Uh-huh. It is interesting for me, surprised because I thought that in Mexico and Latin America we don't have that prejudice because I think that we are on Russian side. Some of them are not in Mexico. We don't like Russia or what Putin, Russia. We sometimes say that they like Putin. He's gangster.
I think in Mexico we don't know so many things about not just Russia, so many countries in the world, no?
Yeah.
But it's the same. For example, so many people think that in Mexico we are on donkeys and we sleep all the time with a big hat. No? I mean, there's a lot of prejudice for all countries, no?
Yeah, but as I know, for example, I have one friend who is a teacher Russian language like foreign language, and many of her students are from Latin America. We want to speak in Russian language. I don't know why, what is their intention, but we are like Russian language and this culture. And it is true or not that Russian culture, USSR culture, interesting for Latin people?
I think, well, I think in Mexico we had present Russia so many years for politicals, for the competence that that is with USA, no? And we in Mexico we have a big problem with USA, and I think the people generally think we don't like USA, have to like Russia, no?
Yes.
For example, I remember 5 years ago when I was in Mexico, one of my best friends told me, I like Putin because he's against USA.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, but he is against human rights too.
Yeah.
But my friend is cis hetero, he's straight, and I said, yes, you are not from the LGBT community, so for that reason it's difficult for you to understand. But it's not just to be against USA, no? It's to see what happened in the world.
Yeah.
And I think for that reason in Mexico we have this reference from Russia, no? That they are against USA, so they are our friends.
I understand. I suspect just that Russia have special connections with Latin American governments to find the ways how to involve to USA. Like USA have connections with countries near from Russia. It is not secret for all people. You know that Ukraine, for example, and Georgia and another countries near from Russia in the friend relationships with USA because to take a like something like ring in perimeter of country and like that way. Russia have connections with Cuba.
Exactly.
Now there are in Cuba many cars from USSR. I was there and they speak Russian language. For me it is was surprised because it is the opposite side of Earth and I heard their Russian language.
And for example, we have a very strong relationship with Cuba. No? For example, I'm a dancer. I studied in the National Dance School in Mexico, and the technique that we take for ballet is the Cuban technique, but the Cuban technique is a Russian technique. Yes, it's adapting, no? But it really the Cuban technique is a Russian technique, no? So we have in art, for example, or dance, we have a big relation. Ship, for example, for us, reference is the Bolshoi, no?
Bolshoi theater.
Bolshoi company, the classic ballet. I think in Mexico, everyone knows to Nureyev and Baryshnikov. No?
Yes. I hope that we can give only the best from that culture. but now we're talking about politicians, and for me, I think that is intention of Russian homophobia and transphobia. It is just a tool to involve to people, to say typical people, look, if you will live like Americans, your children became trans, became change sex, everybody, your children in the dangerous if you want to live like Western Europe or USA. What do you think? Do you believe that it is homophobia and transphobia in Russia? It is just a tool to affect to people, to control people.
In the rest of the world,
Yes.
you means yes. I think we think that sometimes what happened in another country just happened in that country, no?
Okay.
But that's not true,
Yes.
no? Because sooner or later this comes to you.
Yeah.
Because human rights are very fragile,
Yeah.
no? So sometimes it's difficult to know what is happening in other country, not just in this subject that is the LGBT community, in another political things, no? For example, we grow up in general with good prejudices about all countries.
Yeah.
And we just hear the news on television, no?
Yeah.
So it's difficult to see what is happening. But of course, it is a big influence in the world, because if in some country the human rights are down,
Yeah.
probably in the future will be in another.
You know, as for me, it is big difference than it is, for example, Afghanistan or Africa, some countries there where human rights are down. It is not that way like it is in Russia. When we are fighting with homophobia and transphobia in our typical life, our casual life, yes, we can't win because it is, as for me, as I understand, it is a way of politicians in Russia and who are in the side of Russian politics to introduce, to show us transgenders and gays like an enemy, like a scary for future of their children. So as for me, it is impossible to win because it is the tool that Putin used to fighting in war against the America world, USA world.